Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing really well. So we're doing a Polygel extension set today using tips. I don't really like jaw forms, I just can't get the hang of it because it all goes like all weird underneath the jaw form on the free edge of the nail, and I just haven't mastered that yet. So we're using tips. So I'm going in by pushing back all the cuticles. So my client on her nail here, she's a new client. She did lift up her nail many years ago. It started lifting from her nail plate and it's just stayed this weird colour on from the halfway down the nail to the end. For many years it's just stayed that colour, hasn't changed, but her nails are extremely thin, so I was trying my hardest to go like so careful. I didn't want to they haven't been over filed, but they're just really thin. She is on medication, so we all know medication does thin out the nails. So I'm using my flame cuticle drill bit. This is a fine drill bit that I'm using. She didn't need really any cuticles cut in or anything like that. So I'm just using this around all of the cuticles. And then I use my my fine sanding band, which is a 240 grit. It's a mini sanding band. I just get them off Amazon. Yeah, so I'll let you watch all this kind of prep side of things, and then I will come back. So I have just sized up the tips, and these are almond tips. I've had them for freaking ages. Don't ask me where I got them from. I haven't got a clue. They're just almond tips, but they do have like this round circle on the end that you just twist off once the glue is all dry. And the glue I'm using is Makartt, and the Polygel that I'm using as well, before I forget, is Makartt. And for my slip solution, I am just using alcohol. That's what I'm using. I'm not using proper slip solution, just using alcohol because that's what I have. So I'm just making sure that these all fit correctly. They're not too big, they're not too small. If they are too small and the next size up is too big, just go for the bigger one. I say this on every video just in case, because you don't want the next size down that's too small to pinch your client's nail bed. So I'm just gluing on all the tips, making sure that there's no like air bubbles. For some reason this glue does take a good few seconds to dry. On this finger it does end up coming off. I don't know why. I don't even think it's this glue actually. I think it's the nail tips. Maybe I should start etching them up on the inside. When I done Polygel set a couple of weeks ago for somebody, I didn't record it. The exactly same happened. I had to keep re-gluing them back on. It's just like these tips just don't hold glue very well. I'm not really too sure why though, unless they're not plastic and they're gel, maybe. They're very flexible, so they could actually be gel tips. So yeah, I'm just taking off this little round thing. See how that one's just come straight back off. So I go back in and glue it in again, and I just hold it down. Once these are all glued on, I then go in and file the bit that we've just glued on, I blend that into the natural nail gently. As I said, she's got thin nails, so I was trying my hardest to go so careful. So I'm blending that all in. I'm blending the wings because sometimes they don't like to stick down. So I just file them off kind of thing. So I always go down the sides just to make sure there's no glue stuck or anything like that. So I just go down the sides and then I just go over the top, and I do that really gently. And I do buff the whole of the fake tip ready for the base coat that needs to go on, just so you don't want to be putting base coat on something really shiny because it's just going to peel straight back off. Yeah, so I do all of that. And then I go in with Model 1's dehydrator just on the natural nail. You don't need to put it on the tip, you just put it on the natural nail. Well, I use do this base coat all over the nail, cure for 30 seconds, and then I go in, oh my god, why am I getting it backwards? Dehydrator, primer, Model 1's, just on the natural nail. Then I go in with my base coat all over the nail, including the tip. So yeah, I'll let you watch this and I'll be back. So all of that is cured. I just cured the base coat for 30 seconds. I cannot for the life of me remember what colour this Polygel is. I ordered it from Amazon. It was supposed to come as a 2-pack. And it did come as a 2-pack, 2 different coloured pinks. But one of them was pink and one of them was just clear. So they definitely messed up the order, but it's fine. I don't like clear Polygel that much. I haven't used the Makartt one because it's really sticky. It's like a lot more stickier than the coloured Polygel, if that makes sense. I don't know if the Makartt one's like super sticky or not. I haven't tried it yet. But I don't go over any of my, like this colour pink, I don't encapsulate it. I don't need to. The only time you really need to encapsulate it with clear is if you're using glitter, so you don't file through the glitter. So this is only like my 3rd time doing Polygel. I do acrylic, but I'm not a lover of it. It always gives me a headache. Stinks, it's so strong. So I wanted to try Polygel out, and this set took me 2 hours, or just under. I think maybe even like 1 hour and 55. Is that a good time? I have no idea. I've only done it 3 times, so I'm not very good. On myself, I can like bash it out, but when I'm doing it on like a client, I just feel, I don't know, I think it's because I'm trying to do the shape like perfect when I can just go in and file afterwards. But I sit there for ages messing around with each nail to try and get the shape like as best as I possibly can. And I think that's my downfall. Literally from the next time I do it, I think I'm just going to bang it on there. Don't matter if it's lumpy and bumpy, I'll file it afterwards. But this Makartt Polygel, I left it out about for 40 minutes before my client was due, just so it was in my drawer, and I didn't want it to go like be cold, if that makes sense, because it's really difficult to get out the tube otherwise. Like I have to use 2 hands and really squeeze it out. But it came out a lot more easier because I left it out in front of like a heater for about 40 minutes, so it kind of loosened everything up. So what I do is I just do 1 bead. The nails aren't that long. I don't think I'd feel confident enough to do them if the nails were really long, like building up that apex and the structure. I think it would take, oh god, it just take me ages. So as you can see, I literally just use 1 bead. I dump it in the middle of the nail. I don't put it on the end or at the top. I dump it in the middle and then I push it up close to the cuticle. And every now and then I'm dipping my brush into alcohol, wiping it on a paper towel, you know, keeping it clean so it's not getting all sticky and horrible. And then I'm just patting it down, but I'm not like dragging it. I'm kind of patting it, and I'm keeping majority of it up by the apex area where that strength needs to be. I'm bringing, as I'm coming towards a free edge, I'm just bringing a thin layer towards the end, if that makes sense. But I think off camera, it's either this nail or the other nail. I do have to go back in with a tiny bit more because I didn't put a big enough bead on there. I'm still getting used to how much to squeeze out, but I think I did all right considering it's only my third time doing Polygel. Like on, not even on a client. I've done it once or twice. Sorry, fourth time. I've done it 2 times on a client and then like once or twice on myself. I think twice on myself. Yeah, so I don't think I've done too bad, and this colour is just gorgeous. It's not sticky whatsoever. I don't know if it's because I'm using alcohol, 91% I'm using. I don't know if it's any different if you use proper slip solution. I have no idea, but this was not sticky and it was so movable. I've had Polygel before that I used to do on myself, and it was horrible. It was stiff, like you could barely move it. You had to really push and force it to move. Yeah, so as you can see, I spent ages on this nail, patting it, trying to get it to, you know, a half decent shape kind of thing, making it nice and smooth. And I think that's my downfall. I think I mess around too much trying to get it too perfect when I can just do that with a hand file afterwards, which is in turn is still going to take the same amount of time, I think. But I think it might be quicker with a hand file than me messing around trying to get it perfect when I'm laying it. This is the one I didn't put a big enough bead on, but I think I go in, I just don't go in on camera and just put a second bead on after I've cured it. Yeah, so as you can see, I always start at the cuticle. I know some people start at the bottom of the nail, and then cure that and then go back in with a second bead. I've just kind of found this is what works for me. And the good thing about Polygel, it doesn't set until you cure it. So you don't have to rush, you can take your time. Yeah, if anybody else like does Polygel, like on clients, or you're a nail tech and you offer Polygel as a service, how long would you say this set would take you? Like from the beginning right to the end, because this took just shy of 2 hours. It definitely wasn't over 2 hours because I was timing myself. But yeah, you can see in the corner there's a tiny, can you see that shadow where I didn't have enough Polygel there? And that's what really frustrates me with really light Polygels. I love the colour because I love like my natural pinks and the base colours. They're just stunning. But I didn't have enough on there. Oh no, here I am getting it. Oh no, I'm not doing it on. I must do it off camera. Yeah, it's always the corners where I must not put enough on the corner. And I'm sorry, this finger probably wasn't in frame. I've been having a bit of a mess around with my camera because it was too close to the hand and then I couldn't see the hand. So I've had to make it higher. But yeah, patting it down, not touching the cuticle either. I think I do leave a millimetre or two just because I want to make sure there's enough room for me to seal it in with my file and all that sort of stuff, you know. But yeah, I do all this and I cure for 60 seconds. I'm using Kirsty Meeking lamp, it's really good. So I cure for 60 seconds and then I wipe off like the tacky layer. Otherwise, if you don't do that, it gets stuck in your brush. Not in your brush, sorry, in your file when you're filing. So wipe off the tacky layer. I just use acetone just to wipe off the tacky layer. And then I go in and do all like my refining. So I go down the side of the nail. I go around the cuticle. But when I go around the cuticle, I actually use my buffer just because I'm a bit paranoid. I don't want to use my drill because I tried using my drill last time and it ended up taking literally the Polygel completely away. I was taking like chunks of it off, and I was actually using my fine 240 grit sanding band because Polygel is so easy to file. So I just prefer now just to use my buffer around the cuticle. So I go over the top of the nail to make sure there's no dips, lumps, bumps, all that sort of stuff, just to make sure it's all nice and smooth. And then I go all down the sides of the nail, under the nail. I'm just making sure that shape is there as best as possible. And then I use my buffer as well to go over the top of the nail to get out any scratches that this hand file has probably caused, because when you put a top coat on, you're definitely going to see the scratches. So I do this on every single nail, and then we do this like flower, but I see it on TikTok. I picked white and pink up on my brush at the same time, so it kind of looked like the flower kind of petals were like ombre. I don't know. I don't know what to call it, to be honest, but we do that on the ring fingers. So I'll let you watch and I'll be back. So all of that shaping, buffing, all that malarkey has been done. I've gone over and cleaned the nails with just some acetone, just to get rid of any little bits of dust and things like that. Then I'm going in with this. We wanted to keep it a similar colour. Well, we didn't even need to do this, but I just thought it would have added a little bit more of a pink to it. So it's like a jelly kind of pink, and I just do one coat. Doesn't need two coats. I can't remember the brand, haven't got a clue. But it's literally like so beautiful. It's such a pretty base colour. This goes on all of the nails, and then I cure for 30 seconds. Don't need to cure for 60 because it's quite translucent anyway. So what I've done is I've put some pink down and some white down, and I'm just going in with pink, then I'm going in with the white. So you can see I've gone in with the pink, and then I've just grabbed some white as well. And this is what I'm doing, and then it looks so cool. So it's a little bit like blooming gel. So that's the finished result, all top coated. I use Blue Sky No Wipe top coat. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.